Hi there, this is Zeeebo without the mask and welcome to today's video. So before we begin this video, just a short announcement to make. So if you haven't seen my announcement video in the card above, feel free to go and see it. So in that video, I did some major announcements with regards to the Discord, the giveaway, as well as the reasons why I was masking and why I'm unmasked, right? So you guys will see my face like this moving forward. And just before we start the video, I'm just going to continuously announce my Discord server in case you guys haven't seen the video. So the Discord server is over here, as you guys can see, Zeebo's server over here. And then for the giveaway is really straightforward. So details is within the Discord server. Really simple giveaway sponsored by LD Player. So it's $100 giveaway and you're eligible as long as you do the submissions in my server. At the same time, even if you don't win the $100, you stand a chance to win a Nitro Discord giveaway. So if you use Discord frequently and you want a community to hang out, do feel free to join my Discord server with the link in the description as well as the comment section down below. With that, I'll see you guys around in my Discord server. Hello and welcome back to yet another Zeee Best Guide video. So in today's video, we're going to cover Snow Stomper guide. And before I continue talking, I usually refer to Snow Stomper as Yeti because I love my Maplestory and this guy looks like that Yeti, white monster in Maplestory. So if you guys hear me says Yeti, right, it refers to Snow Stomper. So for this guy, I'll just call him Yeti, right, to make things easier and shorter in terms of like pronunciation. So for Snow Stomper, right, this unit, I'll say this boss itself is quite a challenging one because he has 4 skills and one of them is a global silence, which disables a lot of very core units such as Smokey, right, units which relies on their skill a lot will actually do way less damage. But the thing is, this boss is also very creative in a sense. The team building in terms of the meta endgame build, right, is slightly different compared to, I'll say, like what people usually know. So usually against the other bosses, you have a Smokey, and then you have a Merrily, maybe a Corin, and then 2 other units, right? But for this boss itself, it's slightly different. Corin's not as good here because Corin's skills get disabled. You can still use him, but it's not as good. But as usual, I'll run through 3 different builds for 3 different stages, right? Number 1 is your free-to-play beginner build. Number 2 is your free-to-play endgame build, as well as number 3, the meta fully built team. So before we start, just a disclaimer, I think your damage will be scaled to the tier of your units, but this build is definitely one of the highest damage scaling one. So I'll explain the definitions later. Okay, so first we'll start with the skills of Yeti. So here's Yeti. He has 3 scaling moves, namely the ultimate, skill 2 and skill 3. So the reason why this boss have 3 scaling moves is because the scaling move deals HP percentage damage. So it doesn't scale with his attack, rather it scales with the HP of your team. So obviously if you keep the percentages at way too low, then this boss is not going to be that impactful. So they actually slowly increase the percentage HP per second from the damage dealt of the skills. So I'll explain more about the skills as we run through them. So first skill, ultimate, freezes the non-summon enemy with the highest accumulated damage dealt in Yeti Cell until it's destroyed. The frozen enemy cannot move or act, losing 0.4% of their max HP per second and receiving extra damage equals to 0.2% of their max HP per second. The enemy's normal attack can only target the Yeti Cell while it exists. Okay, so the higher level this skill go, the more damage it deals. Basically, what will happen is whenever he uses this ultimate, your carry that deals the most damage, right, usually Merrily or OD, will actually get trapped in the Yeti Cell, which is this white snowball, and they cannot move, right? They cannot attack, they cannot use their skills, and the only way for you to actually break free this unit is have all your other units attack the Yeti Cell and then break it. But the thing is, for this Yeti Cell, I think, I don't know whether or not it's a programming thing or whether or not because these units, they are magical damage dealers, some units don't actually attack the Yeti Cell. So you guys can try and error yourself, but the units that we use today are the units that will actually redirect their attack and then help the ally break free from the Yeti Cell itself. So the faster you can break the Yeti Cell, the more damage you can deal, because this skill targets your carry, right? So the longer your carry gets trapped, the lesser damage they will do. So over here, right, if you take a look at some of the recommended units, I'll be honest with you guys, right? So the units that are in the late game meta build is obviously Merrily and OD, right? As usual, right, they are your meta units. Because number 1, Merrily doesn't really rely too much on the ultimate, right? The ultimate is a little bit more damage, but the key part about Merrily is the normal attacks that's coming out from her, so it doesn't really affect her that much. And then for Odie's one of his main source of damage is the ultimate, which is damage over time. So you guys will see this duo for my F2B endgame account as well, because there are two very important carry units for this boss. So these are the two recommended ones as usual. And then next we take a look at the second skill, summons a blizzard that lasts for 20 seconds at 10, 40 and 70 seconds into the battle, silencing all enemies and making them lose 0.2% of their max HP. So increases in level increases the HP percentage that your team loses. So for this skill itself is basically the global silence. So you only can use your skill in the downtime where this blizzard is not active. So I think first 10 second, right, at the 30 to 40 second mark, as well as the 60 to 70 second mark. So these are the 3 time slot where your units can use their skill. So at the time slots where the units can use their skills must be impactful, or the skills must be able to provide some sort of utility for your team, or provide some sort of buff for your team, right, so that they can do damage when they are global silence. So that's for this skill. And then third one, we have Tearing Bite, right? Launches Tearing Bite at an enemy, dealing true damage equals to 5% of the target's max HP. Inflicts bleeding, make them lose 0.2% of their max HP per second. Okay, so this skill is quite RNG based. So this is the RNG based one, because there's no targeting mechanics for this skill. So what happened is he will just like bite an enemy, deal a lot of damage, inflict bleeding, which is like 8% HP per second, or rather 1% HP per second, which is 8% HP at the end of this skill, which is quite big. It's like 13% just of the skill, because all the skills are based on your HP, max HP per se. So overall, this usually will go to the most front ally, like the ally that's always in front. So a unit that's tanky, a unit that can self-regen, and a unit with damage reduction is something that you want to prefer to be beaten by this skill. So fourth skill, right, attacks and knock down enemy in a snowball. So this skill is a targeting skill on the healthiest ally. So basically, in most cases, if you have a Rainer, the unit that gets transferred in will be the one that's healthiest, because Rainer skill just keeps on healing the unit that got sent in, and the unit will always be at max HP. So this unit will be knocked down, and then for that 1 second they cannot do anything. This skill is not very threatening in terms of the damage. It's more annoying because it reduces your damage. Last skill, right, the last skill, this exhale multiple wave of frost, dealing 120% damage to frontal enemy within 1 tile up 3 times. Okay, so this is the part where you cannot deploy too many melee units, because the more melee unit you deploy, he will actually breathe this like a wave of frost, and then this wave of frost deals a lot of damage, by the way. So in this case, right, when you think about the team, I'll just give you a mental picture of the meta team. You need a carry that is not overly reliant on their skill. You need units that can clear up the snow cell, and then you don't want to have too many melee units, and you want to have units that have impactful ultimate. So that will be the meta team. Okay, so this is the mental image for it. Next, let us move on to my free-to-play team. Let's go. Okay, so free-to-play account time, and as you guys can see over here, I'm still running Smokey for this boss, because Smokey, by I'll say like most people's standard, is probably one of the most invested support unit by now. So in terms of the early game, when you're free to play and you have limited units, just use your strongest units in most cases. So Smokey, even though most of the time the ultimate or the fight cloud is silenced, there will still be intervals of time where he can use it. So the intervals of time where he can use it should be sufficient to provide you with some heals as well as some offensive buff. Then Coco, same thing. Coco's ultimate has offensive buff, damage reduction, as well as life drain ability, which greatly increases the sustain for your team. Then we have our dear Odie, best damage dealer for this comp. So mine is still a mythic, not mythic plus yet, but it doesn't matter because his key role is his normal attack as well as the ultimate. So the fourth unit, Zeee. Okay, so Zeee, everybody's very hot about her, but for this boss, I'll say in the early game, I think most people will have her highly invested. And on top of that, the summons that Zeee summon, right, actually allows you to kill the snowball as fast as possible. So it is still a decent unit. So she's quite niche for this boss, other than Necro Drake, but I think she's better for this boss because the additional summon, Mr. Cows, can help you break the snowball more easily. And in most cases, this team, Odie will be the one that takes the Yeti cell. So that's why Zeee is there. And then we run Torrent. So Torrent best tank debuff, multiple lives, counter attack for damage, all in one package. So pretty good in the early game and probably one of the most invested unit as well. So the the artifact of choice is Enlightening Spell, which increases attack speed and then provide the rearmost ally with the control immunity. So Zeee will definitely get the first ultimate off before she gets silenced. So this is my team setup. Right, let's start the battle. Let's go. Okay, so Torrent will be the one drawing the aggro, and then Zeee will gain the immunity buff, and then Torrent will charge up the ultimate pretty fast. OD didn't get the ultimate off before, unfortunately. I think later on I'll switch out OD into Zeee slot to see whether or not I can push for a little bit more damage. So as you guys can see, Zee's ultimate helps to remove the snowball, so I wanted to get it out ASAP. If I don't use the enlightening spell, then I think her ultimate won't come out before the snowball on the carry unit. So that's why I put it on her. But later on, I'll try putting it on OD to see whether or not OD using the ultimate first can jam in a little bit more damage. So over here, you see, you guys can see the damage output mainly comes from OD, so he's always the one that draws away the Yeti cell. And in the event where your team is not silenced, Smokey can use the cloud, which still provides a little bit of heal and, you know, keep your team healthy from there. So we are breaking our damage cap pretty good, and once Torrent fell, my time is almost up as well. So yeah, Torrent's pretty good here. So in the second run, right, I'm gonna use the same setup, just change out my dear OD with Zeee over here to see whether or not OD throwing the ultimate first will actually give me more damage, or whether or not breaking free from the Yeti cell is more important. So this is the experimentation part. So same setup, I'm not gonna explain too much, and I'm gonna just fast forward to the end of this battle. Okay, so we are done on this one. So I think for this positional swap, what happened was your Zee's ultimate didn't come out on the first run, so the first Yeti cell break was a lot slower. So for most people who have their Zeee heavily invested, do remember to put her in this position so you benefit from the enlightening spell attack speed buff. So with that, let us move on to my free-to-play endgame account. Okay, so this is the free-to-play endgame account. So for this run, I'll showcase the damage distribution towards the end. And for this team itself, merely OD, I don't think I need to explain too much. Kruger, frontliner tank with the shield when you got the EX weapon. And then at the same time, you fulfill the factional bonuses. And I run Rowan as the support of choice because Rowan's potion is not something that is a skill, right? It's a potion that's within the card. So if ally is within the radius of his skill, they'll pick up the potion, drink it, and then they'll gain the HP as well as the defensive buff. So Rowan is pretty good as a healer. And on top of that, because I'm running a Star Shard spell for this boss, so Rowan's energy regeneration for the whole team will always be invaluable to just jam in a bit more of this spell from the Star Shard spell artifact. Then we have obviously Corin, generally good damage dealer, shielder for the team, one of the best Dreamrealm units as well. So without further ado, let's speed run through the damage for this boss. Let's go. Okay, so we have the final damage tally of up to 52 million, about 53 million. So let's take a look at the damage distribution. So the carries, obviously, they're doing most damage, right? Corin's doing decent damage as well. And then Kruger debuff also dealing a little bit, and then Rowan's main job is actually from the heal. So from here you guys can see Kruger has quite a bit of heal, and that is because Kruger has his own life drain ability which keeps himself healthy, making him a really good frontliner. So Rowan's heal comes from the potion which he gives to the other allies that are low on HP, and his main job there is obviously for energy cycling. His damage is going to be pathetic no matter what. So that's for my free-to-play endgame account. Okay, so we have Merrily on screen right now. Before I review the team, I'll let you guys guess who are the other 4 units. So 3, 2, 1. Okay, pretty standard team, but I'm going to explain the last tech unit. So this is the team review. Merrily, I already mentioned, right, unit that doesn't rely on the ultimate is really good from the carrying perspective. So the only thing that I think Merrily is slightly weaker is the attack stacking from the EX weapon, but in general, she is still going to be one of the most meta unit as a DPS like a unit for bossing, so she's the best choice. And then we have Odie. So Odie's ultimate is damage over time. That doesn't really matter, right? You'll just keep on sticking to the boss even if Odie gets silenced. And on top of that, if you take a look at Odie's kit as a whole, right, this unit is actually also pretty normal attack reliant. So it's a very normal attack reliant unit primarily. So these two units, they are the best units for the boss because they don't rely on their skills that much, except for Odie for the ultimate and maybe merely for the EX weapon if you want to stack the attack as fast as possible. But other than that, they are your best choice for DPS. And then you have Reina, which is the best support for this boss. I don't think I need to explain too much. And then for Kruger, okay, so Kruger in this team acts more like a frontliner tanker to take the boss's normal attack, as you guys can see from the aggro, right? So I'll see the aggro. So Kruger is the one that takes the aggro. And the reason why Kruger can tank up in the late game in this team is because you have the EX weapon and he has the life drain ability when no ally are detected within the surrounding 1 tile. So what happens is actually this boss will cause your unit to move around a lot. So there will be actually gaps within the battle where Kruger can have lifesteal. And on top of that, because he has this massive shielding ability as well as this range defense boost, this unit actually tanks up pretty well just for this boss itself. So if you try to use him as a tank for other boss, he might not survive, but for this boss it's pretty good. And in the late game, if you have your EX weapon up, actually this massive shield gives him a lot of HP to begin with, so he might be able to hold. And then if you have heals to back him up, this unit will act as a frontliner tanker debuffer in the late game. So this is Kruger, right? So these 4 units, they are your meta Dream Realm unit. And lastly, we have your niche unit. So for those of you guys who have seen my ultimate endgame Dream Realm tier list, Shakir is the niche unit for this boss, because Shakir used to be one of the T0 or T1 Dream Realm unit, as you can manual the game mode, so you can control where he fly with his skill and you can manipulate the aura. So where is this aura I'm talking about? It's in his ultimate. So this allows Shakir to transfer into the wolf. He gets unaffected, so he's not affected by any control effect. He cannot be snowballed, he cannot be frozen, he cannot be trapped. At the same time, his attack will become an AoE attack and he will have a Lupin aura. So Lupin aura reduces the allies' damage taken up to 25% and increase their haste by 25%. So this Lupin aura will help your Kruger stay healthy as well if he has it up. At the same time, also increasing the haste of all the allies that is within the aura. So that is this ultimate. So next skill is just damage, right? AoE damage. And then this one allows allows Shakir to gain life drain as well as range defense. And each non-summon ally within the Lupin aura will grant him a percentage boost for the attack. So the higher level, the more percentage boost for him. So his damage output will also increase. Then this is the I'll say the 4th skill, right? This is the this is the focus skill, right? So this one reduces his damage taken further, right? And this basically allows him to survive all the snowball breathing, the frontline damage from the boss together with Kruger. So he's quite I'll say tanky unit, and he has lifesteal as well, so he's quite good at sustaining. And then for the EX weapon, it allows him to morph into the wolf form ASAP, which is the key part of this skill. So over here, if you have EX level 3, right, each non-summon ally within Lupin aura can share the same bonus attack from Wolf's Will. So basically, right, over Wolf's Will is over here. Okay, so there's this attack boost, right, that only benefits Kruger, but if you have EX level 10, this attack boost also benefit the ally. So this is an attack boost, and that's why this unit used to be one of the T0 meta in the late game. And yeah, this is just more damage for this unit. So decreased vitality, I don't think it matters, because I don't think Yeti actually heals up, so not so important. But the important part is the aura. The important part is the life drain. The important part is the factional bonus, which is the Mauler faction, as well as the ability to sort of boost the speed of your unit with the haste buff from the aura. So another thing that's different from other setup for this one is the artifact use. So for this artifact, hey Zeee, why the hell this is a physical team while using Blazing Spell? So Blazing Spell provides you with the defense penetration. Very good, and the bonus defense definitely helps your team to survive a little bit better. And because in this boss you can't usually use your ultimate a lot, right, what happens is Star Shard spell doesn't do as much damage from the skill itself, whereas Blazing Spell, the damage is way more consistent because it will just always proc. And one more benefit from this artifact is that the fireball can actually target the snowball. So this helps you bring your carry out so that your carry can do more damage. So that's the reason why we're using Blazing Spell. So without further ado, let's begin this battle to show the meta damage team's damage output. Let's go. Okay, so I will go at, I think 2 times is fine. So over here, as you guys can see, Odie got sent in. So he will be within the range of the aura of Shakir. So for Shakir's case, there's actually a brown ring in the background. I'm not sure whether or not you guys can see it. So this brown thing is actually an aura. So this is the Lupin aura where you get the attack buff as well as the haste buff and all the good stuff. So this is how Shakir works. Okay. So since Odie is permanently in front, right, together with Kruger, there's minimally 3 units benefiting from the buff. And with 3 units in the buff, the attack bonus is actually higher as well. So overall, that's where Shakir plays an important role. Because first of all, the aura is one thing. Second of all, Shakir is a very fast unit. So as you guys can see, once my memory get trapped, right, Shakir will run immediately to the back line. And this is one reason why we use Shakir, because Shakir will run back and then he will actually reposition so that the aura can benefit as many units as possible. So for this time around, I did 68 million damage. Not the best. I did 70 million before with this comp. So this boss is very highly RNG based, because the unit that he frees, the positioning of your Shakir, how your Shakir flies, it really affects the, I'll say, like tit and tats for the final damage. And as usual, right, just now I think I showcased the damage for the other teams. This is the final damage showcase. So Merrily and Odie, obviously the top 2 damage dealers, and then we have Shakir over here, and then we have Kruger. So these 2 units deals decent damage as well. But I'll say Shakir is more so there for the aura as well as how fast he can remove the snowball, the Yeti cell, so that your carry can do more damage. And then Reina and Kruger, I don't think I need to explain too much. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. This is the meta team for Snow Stomper or Yeti. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more Zeee best guide from the channel. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.